All right, this is your market recap for July 11th, 2025. As you can see, today we played bearish, staying within that small weekly range that we have been playing in all week. So if we go down to the hourly time frame, we can see that we opened at 6 o'clock here, went up, down, and then up, and then created an SMT of these lows, which forced New York session to play bullish. Never taking out this high again and never taking out this low again. Kind of just stayed within the range. On this hourly time frame, significant things are right here. Hourly fair value gap, sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency there. We react off of it nicely here, once, twice, validating it. We then close above it. And then we use these as, inverse to take us above this high. We then, from that high, we then start to fall from there. On the 15-minute, we can see nice rally, fell down below these lows, rallied again, took out this high, hit a deep retrace, stayed within this 1 hour inverse fairly nicely, had another expansion upwards above this high. We then went horizontal for the entirety of lunch, even into a little bit of PM session before playing bearish, using this 15-minute fair value gap to take us all the way down to below these lows. And yeah, that's where we ended the day. Now on the 5-minute, you can see here, market opened, we rallied, took out this high, came down, took out these relative equal lows, rallied up again, took out this high, hit a deep retrace to this fair value gap here. Another nice set of closures within this 1 hour inverse fair value gap. Then we played bullish, horizontal, tried to take out this high up here, but obviously didn't have the volume for that. So we tipped over, reacting nicely again off this hourly fair value gap, coming back up to this 15-minute and then continuing lower from there. Now, if we go down to the 1 minute, this video is going to be really fast because there really wasn't much to talk about or look at today, with one, there being no news, and two, being a Friday on a very, very low volume week. So we rallied, took out this high, had a nice closure within this hourly fair value gap. Inverse, at this point it was still a regular fair value gap. Nice closure, nice rejection wicks here. We then came down lower, took out these relative equal lows here, failed to get these, so that proved a little bullish. If we look at this low here, we can see that there's no real desire to continue below it. We then, from there, play bullish. SMT appeared during the macro. I was looking to play bearish here, maybe catching a little retrace to equilibrium of this bullish move, given that we just took out this high. But we didn't do that. We continued rallying above this high, and we eventually started to retrace around 10:30, which we did so nicely to this 1 hour fair value gap, or inverse fair value gap once again. And then we went up, and then horizontal, more horizontal, SMT of these highs, another move at 2:30 to bring us down, reaction off this hourly up to this 15-minute fair value gap, and then we closed within the range of the day. Now, there was, again, like I said, not a whole lot to trade today. There was not many expansions. There was also not many huge plays. It's kind of what you'd expect from a Friday with no news, given the week we've had. I mean, if we look on the weekly time frame, look at this. This is the smallest range we've had in months. The only one that can compare is this one. But if you have 3 days this week with no news, 4 mornings with no news, you're not going to get much. Here it is right here. This is the whole week. So, I've seen single days with more volume than this entire week. But that's the nature of trading. You're not going to get a crazy week every week. But it's in these conditions where you have to recognize them and then decide to either sit on the sidelines or de-risk if you're going to take a trade. But there were a couple good trades that could have been taken today and this week. I meant this week, not so much today, but with my experience, I'd feel safer and more comfortable just not even looking at anything past the first half hour, given the price action we had today. So, yeah, not a bad week. We didn't do horrible. We didn't do great. We'll see what is to come for next week. Given this small day after hitting this, we may retrace down to this fair value gap next week. I think it's possible that we're going to do that. So we took out a high, closed above it. I'm expecting a big week next week. And I see us either barely tapping into this fair value gap, or we're not going to get a crazy expansion if there is one. But it's just speculating at that point. Well, again, we'll see what ends up actually happening leading into Monday morning AM session before we make up any actual decisions. So this has been your market recap for July 11th, 2025.